create, adapt, discover. And when confronted by uncertainty, we don't stand idly by. We never have. We get involved, lead by example, even when things are tough. Especially when things are tough. We take action because Villanovans are like that. Stronger together. Ignite change. Go Nova.
What's up? Welcome back, everybody, to EGFC Week 16. This has been such a long season with so much action, and we have another Friday full of Counter-Strike matches. Another 4 best of 2 series coming out at you tonight. I'm Los, joined by Viking. And Viking, how are you feeling in Week 16?
I know we've only got a collective 8 matches left between this week and next week, so there's just a lot going on, and there's all these battles that are happening across the league where literally 3 teams are are tied at the exact same number of matches. There's still an opportunity to take out 4th seed Siena and try to build that up, because what we're building towards here is our nationals. So right now everything is focused on getting the best seed possible. And if you're not one of our top 3 teams, how do you avoid playing one of the top 3 teams in your first matchup? So there's a lot on the line for these teams as they're trying to separate themselves as they got here. And that's why I'm really excited to see this. So we're starting off with Villanova and Siena on Mirage, which is a map that we didn't see a whole lot last week, which is okay. But this is Villanova's Villanova's choice, hence the starting on the T side. And I'm excited to see what they're able to do with this.
Yeah, looking like a B setup, but you don't have many players running it down, and now it's the full apartments waterfall. Yankees might be able to get a few for themselves, maybe even a third one, as the player by bench will be cut off. They're still good. One last player, the laggard of the crew, jumps out of the apartment, but maybe Yankee fans still able to stay alive. And just the fact that they have not fallen yet is a critical play, the best that they could have done. They ran out of ammo, just pull out the knife, because it's all up to Restroom to somehow walk out with a victory in a 1v3. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that was a great counteroffensive by the Siena team there to make sure that the aggression that you saw setting up onto the B site from Villanova ultimately was not successful. There's some key plays there from Yankee Fan, who's a new addition to the Siena roster as of today. So this is the last week that anyone can add any players to their roster before we get into playoffs, which start tomorrow for our Rocket League season. So there's a lot of kind of feeling things out right now, but we see Villanova already moving up into that mid position, just trying to make as much noise as possible. But they are playing against a bevy of long-range weapons, so I'm not 100% confident in that. As Yankee Fan takes out Internet, Poignet, and the third in Puberty. That might be a pretty quick round.
Yeah, as expected, but oh, they do lose that M4. However, it should be swiftly recovered. Unless, oh no, it fell backwards! They might not be able to grab it, no! They lost it!
That's a costly drop. Oof. I feel for him. I really do. That's a big weapon gone. And now, especially as we're seeing the AKs come out from Villanova, that is not a weapon that they wanted to have to rebuy. And it doesn't look like they're opting for that, as we still see all the SMGs on their front, and then a scout from Yankee Fan going up against the op from Restroom. This might be this seems like an on paper pretty swift power dynamic change.
Yeah, no problem there. Yankee Fan flashed into Internet. Starts things off by removing them from the window. The threat no longer in place, but now they still have to worry about the connector player, or at least they did before Tubby Muffin moved that. Pango no longer there, so that's 2 players down for Siena. There isn't much for them to work with now, just a lone CT hanging out by B. But this is more of a posture set up toward A. Flash out to the jungle. They don't even have to worry about it. It's a quick tube down, and this should be the plant confirmed. Gray might be able to get some shots, but it's the op from Restroom that says no.
That's an unlucky person to be running into, especially if they have the cognizance to turn around and watch on Cat, as Restroom did there. So this is kind of an interesting setup. I mean, like I mentioned, we've got some new players on the side of Siena, but this is also the first time that we've seen sort of the full strength from Villanova in a couple weeks. Other than last week, where they took a forfeit against Niagara, they've had kind of a rough go of the last 4 or so weeks beyond that. And a lot of that has just been a combination of, missing a couple players off of their starting roster, or just not quite feeling up to full strength, I think. Tubby is one of the folks that you mentioned in the last round. one of those key players that have had such a big impact, but his presence especially has put Villanova in kind of a tough spot. And so as we're fighting for, the rankings in the midfield, it's good, I think, spirits for Villanova to have them back.
Speaking of the midfield, I mean, there's still a solid chance for Siena to just claw their way up to the top. I mean, there's not enough matches left for them to get into the top 3, but the fact that they've been able to come through and distance themselves from the middle of the pack, taking 4th place as a very large gap here. I mean, oh man, almost some possible defenses there coming in from Siena. And once the guns start firing away here from Nova, there's no problem. But this gap closer could be a bit of an issue. There's low key. Finding one, might be able to convert that into another one. Be the case. Actually, they stick to the MP9. They don't need another gun.
Than it should be. It just goes to show that firepower obviously is not everything, and it's really up to Kwanye. He's already got 2 kills on the round to close this out. Is he gonna notice? Oh. That was a little scary. I think Villanova probably wasn't expecting to have such a significant amount of resistance from Siena there, but Siena, even though they were outgunned in pretty much every individual matchup, they did really well there. They made that way closer than it should have been, and you can see how that obviously starts to impact their confidence as they go forward. But now they're back on M4s. Villanova, no money problems whatsoever, able to buy into a full AK plus utility. We've got that off back for Rushroom, and Rushroom, the last couple of times that we've seen them have been, some of those singular bright spots on Villanova. As I mentioned, they were kind of struggling in previous weeks. So if he continues to have that kind of impact, and that gap in the smoke might be the first opportunity to do it, this could be a really great opportunity for them to come back to full form.
Waiting for that first peek, and Pango will be the one to deliver. That's already 1 down, but we do have a split offensive here. Gray might be able to get some shots. Wanye will be foiled, so they don't have any more pressure coming from either side of the map. They have to work it through connectors. 2 are coming up, especially with the bomb as well. Last player on site, Loki, jumps into Firebox, has the angle for Puberty. They didn't realize it. They still don't know. The comms weren't there. And now Internet's all alone from jungle, but it's still a 1v2. So this is definitely a doable situation. They realize the comms there. They realize Firebox has a player. The nade doesn't find too much damage, but now it's been turned into a 1v1. The flash goes out. Interesting to shoot the wall, but hey, maybe it's more bangable than we thought.
There you go. Ooh, like that repositioning. That's a great settling of the angle, going all the way back to CT, and is low-key seems to be aware of that, can hear the footsteps, but is playing from that bench position. This is just going to end up to a duel of aim here.
It comes out to that angle. Low-key already knew. They figured out that this was going to be a long rotation when there was less resistance coming back from jungle, so great play by them. Able to recover that up as well, take it away from Restroom. No long range scopes for these players. So Siena able to bounce back in that last one.
Yeah, that was a great kind of movement and dance around each other. Love to see that happening. And now as everybody's coming back into this, everybody is going to be kind of I would say a pseudo strength. Siena is really in that tough spot of if they don't start to string some rounds together, even with double saves, they're not going to have quite enough cash to buy what they want to. And you can see that by kind of the mixed utility as well as the mixed guns that they have. But the same is true for the side of Villanova right now. Obviously, last round didn't go quite as up to their paths, and just getting caught with a nade out. Kwanye goes down to Pango, and now Loki is trying to deal with the aggression onto the A site. Takes out 1, gets 2, and Tubby Muffin. That's Internet and Tubby off of the map, with both of the Villanova players kind of stuck at A ramp.
Well, yeah, the fact that they couldn't get any positioning allows Pango to come up from the top of stairs and tap them down. They're not able to keep all of their angles covered. Both of them were looking in the same direction, back towards site, so they weren't able to expect or weren't able to react to a player up at the top of the stairs. So another good round from Siena. That's kind of what we'd expect, though. Still not a great deal of money from Nova this time around on round 7. Looking to be another Siena walkaway.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note that a lot of these rounds are still staying close. Gray with that molly is going to get some of them, going to do a little bit of damage. As you see on the other side of the map, takes out Internet. Great with a great spray down, takes out 2, leaving just Rushroom who trades it out, and Birdie on site, both with very low health. And we see both of the Siena team being surprisingly slow through Palace. It must be that the comms weren't quite there.
Wait,
Or no, they have
they
the
have
bomb.
bomb.
They have the,
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't believe I missed that. That was just a classic redirect. And yet the way that they cleared that still suggested that they weren't quite aware of where everyone else on the map was. We see Birdie over there has got the FAMAS now, but it's still just a P250 on Rushdrum. Not going to give them a lot of tools if they want to come back to that, especially with, 4 angry CTs holding Palace, including an op. So I think if I'm Birdie, I'm probably just going to chill with the FAMAS, but there's no reason that Rushdrum with that P250 can't go and try to get something, although obviously that's a pretty big ask.
I mean, Puberty won't be able to go up from Dark, expecting a little less resistance than they found. As that's just another easy cleanup here for Siena. I mean, they did kill one player on the side of Siena. Maybe that was just some minor economic damage, but it's really an unfortunate occurrence where that distraction and the sneaky ninja attempt to plan onto A is completely foiled and guarded by a bunch of CTs, essentially guaranteeing you're losing this round. So there wasn't much they could do than throw some bodies in.
Yeah, it was tough. But we're back to full firepower strength on the side of the T's, but they are pretty low on the utilities. So if they're going for, it looks like they're lining up for that classic A execute, which is going to be great, but they're going to have to get that right the first time, because if they mess up that execution, they're not going to have anything left in the toolbox to go back to it. Lots of smokes and flashes out as they rush onto the bomb site. There's a player already down OCU. Tubby Muffin takes him out. Champion Link down. One more there. That smoke from jungle could have been dangerous, but they're able to exploit that gap in the smoke. Gray, on the other hand, just tapping away at that gap, trying to get something. As we see Yankee Fan, that new player, trying to do something out there, is just kind of hanging by ticket booth, hoping that nobody notices it. That may have been a mistake.
I think it's confirmed that that was not the play. Maybe they're just keeping themselves safe, or they want to have this better angle up the top of ticket booth, but that's only good for one. If you're in a 1v1, that could be your ticket out of there. Unfortunately, when you have 3 other players to react, you're only going to be able to walk away with a single frag, and they're losing out on the op. They have enough money to buy it in the end, so it isn't a major loss, but even so, if they're able to afford on some players, Ray doesn't have anything to work with.
As much as I appreciated that aggressive play, I think that once you get to that sort of ratio, especially given how long it took to set up that one way, it's a good opportunity to just cut your losses and go for it. Keep that off, keep the cash back, and obviously put your team overall in a better position. Wasn't the case. They made the gamble, wasn't there, but they do have this one way, and that's going to be a free kill for Yankee Fan onto Birdie. There's still 2 players left in that mid area, so they don't have control of it. But going down that one player that early in the round is obviously a tough hit for the T side. I'm amazed that did not take out Quante. Gray with those dualies.
Oh,
those
there
dualies,
we go.
Man.
Players just love those dualies, and I mean, they look cool, so rightfully so. I understand it, but they rarely find any value. I would say across any game, you are
Yes.
much better off buying like a 5.7, a Tech 9. You don't need the dualies.
I just want those 40 bullets, man. Like, the more bops you can get out there, the better you're gonna do. What they're doing now is a little bit of a mystery, because it seems like they've kind of figured out that they might have B control. So the rest of Siena, they still have 2 players towards the rotate, on one coming out of the B site now. Pango almost gets a collateral there, but it's taken out by Internet. But now Yankee, blocked off by that Molly, does have that, a missed shot, unfortunately, and that's a lot of health gone down by Yankee, and that re-aggression by Internet is going to make this a very difficult play to come out of this. That's 1, 2. There you go. Easy cleanup for Villanova.
And good for them. They're also able to recover that op. So a good investment. Great play by them. Able to turn that interesting situation, that equalized situation, bring it back over to B. And maybe Siena will be a bit more hesitant to leave sites open.
Yeah, Villanova's been really good at kind of forcing a level of confusion with their movements, and obviously that's kind of put in some weird late game positions. Rushdrum getting Pango there was a great call out. There's going to be 2 players left on this with not a lot of utility to do anything, and Reshiram just feeling himself right now is on his second kill. There's one more from the stairs, but Champion able to take out Internet with just a USP. Get a second with a USP. Are you kidding me? That's 2 for the price of 1, and a great value kill for just a USP there. That's 2 players on the Villanova side that are going to have to buy back into this next round.
Good eco for them. Nice response, and they are able to just remove a decent amount of weaponry to hurt the economy a bit. But if we're looking at the eco, the money bank over for Nova at the moment, they're doing just fine. Especially if you're looking at the big high roller Reshiram, they should be good for a buddy buy next round. But regardless, we do have full M4s on the side of Siena. They're not risking anything downrange on mid. But now with Loki creeping around through Palace, this is going to cut off some of their options. And if they decide to take a full-on execute to A, it'd be a bit worse. And Pango putting their back to danger, lose their life. And this is a great start here for Nova.
It is, absolutely. Those are 2 very early kills that Siena just can't afford to give up, because now you got 5 of the T side starting to head towards that A site, and the defenses are just crumbling for the side of Siena to the point where, with only 2 players left against 5 almost full health T players, it's best they just hold off.
1A will be met with a lurker. It's Loki back in action from the Palace. They find 1, but they only have themselves to rely on. It's a slow rotation from Gray to come through jungle, but that won't be quick enough. It will catch off Tubby Muffin if they have this play right. Yep, that'll be it. They still have 3 more to deal with, all waiting, all knowing exactly where Gray is coming from. Gets hit with the leg. Puberty's there to finish it off with the AK.
I feel like that was a bit of a sunk cost there. You know, I mean, obviously the play from Loki on the A-ramp flank does net them 1, but I feel like Gray still could have played for the support, because the math of that, the chances of them actually bringing that back into it, although obviously everyone wants to be optimistic and hope for the best, was pretty bleak. And so now we're back in a position where they've got no real weapons on their side. They're going to have to save at least 1 here to get that back. And that's a tough place to be.
Oh, a nice shot for Pango. Maybe even more. Oh, playing the angles is perfect. He's just in reach to pick up the AK. All alone in Sandwich, but he doesn't have enough time to use it. The peek from Tubby Muffin is too quick, so they will be able to get the plant down on default. There is a bit of resistance. OCU at the top of stairs drops into Sandwich, recovers the AK, and leaves Tubby Muffin all alone. But Gray,
Oh no, it's the dualies.
They've got the dualies. What do you got for us? Oh, he spots him. Both players have a decent amount of damage taken into him. 48 here for Tubby, but no! The dualies, they don't do it justice. And Nova clutches it out. Tubby Muffin saves the day with a 4K.
Admittedly, I was pretty worried about the impact of those dualies at the end of the round, especially because Siena, with these USPs, are just doing an incredible amount of work in all of their save rounds. I think this is the second time where we've made really notable callouts as to just how much damage that they've been able to do with those, which is terrifying. And the fact that they came down to a 1v1 is a worrying sign for Villanova. Obviously able to bring it out. They still have a little bit of a lead here in a 2-round gap, but that just kind of goes to show just how equal these teams are right now.
Slower play that we're seeing from Nova. It was a very costly round, so they want to make sure to check every corner that they can. OCU hiding at the bottom of the stairs, a little bit preemptive, but the shots are still good when the swing finally comes, and they back off to play their life. Pango will be here for the support. Flash causes a bit of cautious play. However, in the repeak, they are all set to go. Must realize there is a player in Palace, though, as they are very aware. Keep checking in that angle, but oh my god. Pango and OCU, they are locking this side down, and Yankee fan realizes Window's the only option left and wins it out. It's a flawless round here for Siena.
It was a huge momentum swing. I mean, we talked about how close the last round was, but that last round was not close at all. That was just a systematic breakdown of Nova's approach there. Unfortunately, Siena able to just annihilate them using and exploiting every possible opening that they got there. And that's something that Villanova's obviously got to be really cognizant of again. There's only two rounds left in this half. There's not a lot of opportunities for them to continue to build this lead. That being said, they are on the T side, and CT tends to be a little bit more comfortable for most teams. So this could be exactly what they need to carry over and see some victory in the second half as well.
A lot of noise being caused by Tubby Muffin here, but again, it's a feint. They have the majority of their players over by B, and that's the one frag they actually needed to secure because they have Yankee Fan coming around. Tubby Muffin will lose their life as A is completely locked down, but now they have to deal with Yankee Fan. They got the op. It's going to be a lot more difficult to take. However, with the space created, with the smoke forced out as a response to the molly, they have enough time to plant the bomb.
All comes down to how well Nova can play their post-plant positions, because there are a lot of Siena players packed into that market area. They're going to get that first 2 from Birdie. That's a huge impact from them that we haven't seen so far. Loki takes out Birdie for their sins, and now they're out onto site, and just Rushroom and Kwanye are left to keep this from going in the direction of the CTs. First kill is going to Kwanye, second to Kwanye. That is an excellent post-plant from Villanova, and the momentum is swinging back in the other direction.
Yeah, this is quite the back and forth rounds that we're seeing here between Siena and Nova. And Nova is definitely looking to make a name for themselves here because they are in that 3-way tie toward the bottom with 12 wins. They want to break away from the pack. They want to save themselves from facing some of the top teams as we head into the playoffs. So I wouldn't blame them. They are fighting tooth and nail. They got to take this one if they want to actually have a much more optimistic chance as we continue into the postseason.
Yep. I love where their direction is. I like this aggression, a little bit of a change. Pango just running directly into the crosshairs of internet. It's not going to be the opening that they were looking for, but this is going really well for Siena. We're seeing just this trade for trade sort of mentality happening in their, not in the way that they're strategizing. Obviously, they're not trying to lose these people the way that they are, but that's just the way that the server's happening. And now Villanova down 3-5 has done quite a bit of damage, so a lot of the Siena players are in that position, but they keep just giving away these angles. Pango able to take out Birdie. That's going to be another one down, almost a third, but Tubby able to finally take down Pango. Gray going up, being super aggressive on Cat, runs directly into Tubby to get some revenge. And now it's just Reshiram with that off against 4 of the CT side. Gray clears it out, and this is going to be an incredibly close half, going slightly in favor of Villanova, 8-7. So now as they switch over onto the CT side, we're going to see if they can maintain that gap and build it for the side of Villanova, or if Siena is going to use the T side to exact their revenge.
I mean, what a T side there from Nova. It was a 5-round run that we saw from them on the T side. It was a very big streak they were going on, but in the end, Siena was able to do a back and forth battle to keep themselves alive and make sure that there isn't a very large gap in between them as we go into the second half. So what is going to be going down? The simple feint again. Yankee Fan this time is the distractor. What are they going to find as they jump out onto side? Oh, wow. A great deal of damage over onto Reshiram. A dink to make him think twice about peeking on that. And that forced out quite a rotation. You already see 2 players posturing themselves by connector, but here's the waterfall. Kwanye, though, removes Pango. That's delaying the plant, so they do have some time for the rotation. But Internet comes out. They swing too late. The bomb will be planted, and they're only good for Gray. Trade it out. So it's up to Tubby Muffin and Puberty here to save the day. What an apartment's not a position they were expecting. The P250 from Loki almost finds its mark, but not quite. There's another one. There's another chance as Loki does connect one now. Tubby Muffin in the 1v2. OCU moving around from underneath the apartment balcony, but they will lose. They will not allow a clutch to occur for Nova. Siena equalizes this score. First round of the second half.
It's a great pistol round for Siena. They're able to set them up very much so for success. And we're obviously going to see them buying up into that success. So we see a bunch of SMGs and just a deagle from Gray. But Galil's P90s all across the board against 0 investment on the side of Villanova. So we expect this to be a pretty quick round, but if they can do some damage with those USPs, they're still going to feel pretty good about, I think, the potential of this round.
Smokes across Cat as well as just mid. Give them some spaces. We've got Yankee Fan here, able to cause a bit of havoc with the Galil finding all 3. And that all but solidifies their victory in this round. Internet with just the USB might be able to pop off one or two as Yankee and OC are deathly injured, but there's no chance that they can do it.
Very quick cleanup. Gonna give Villanova the opportunity to just hard reset here going into M4 as the op on internet. Not a lot of utility, which is notable because this is definitely a map where you want to try to pre-nade things as much as possible, whether that's, you know, Molly's on B, smokes on A ramp, whatever the case may be. So they're going to have some of those, but not a ton there. And we see Villanova being pretty aggressive towards that B site, slowing down to play contact. But they are going to be facing just one player on Van and one player on Cat. So it's really down to those two players to make sure that they do enough damage that the rest of the team can rotate in, especially because no one on the A site seems to really want to cheat in that direction. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a rotate than we've seen in past. But as I say that, Siena trying out some different routes going into that mid area, trying to get a little bit more information. So Villanova not really moving at all is going to give them potentially the advantage, because if Siena, who continues to seem to be just a little indecisive about where they want to go, this late round execution could work in favor of Villanova.
Okay, we're seeing Loki and Gray make their way back through T-spawn and potentially be distractors over onto A site. This might justify that anchor coming from Nova, but I don't see that there will be a rotation. If anything, it would be Tubby Muffin just to look toward Cab, maybe in Connector. If they don't see anything, oh yeah, they still realize this is going to be a B hit because the footsteps are there, the sound cues are good, and the bomb has been seen. One player by Van, Pango dropped down, and there's a long gap between the rest of the players can come for the support, and this was not the play. Even a long-range shot through Connector, leaving Low-Key and Gray, the two distractors, attempted to make some headway onto A, all alone. No time left for them to get onto the site, especially when you have internet with the up.
I didn't mind that idea very much. I mean, misdirection plays, especially on this map, can be really, really powerful. But I think that where that kind of broke down is the nades that were thrown towards the A site didn't come with any follow-up aggression. They didn't push anyone out ramp or in Palace just to show a little bit of face. And I think Villanova just read that really, really well, saying, hey, we haven't even seen someone peek their head out around the corner, so we can't assume that anything's going to happen. They stayed home. They played their roles really, really well, and obviously that led to a great victory and an equalizer for it. So now we see Siena back on just a couple upgraded pistols, SMGs, and a scout. They're going to see if they can get something out here. That run boost going to net them a whole 13 damage. So not what they were hoping for, but hey, it does force him out of window, and a little bit more damage done on a Cat. Yankee able to take out Tubby. That is something. It's not nothing, and that is the obvious fact of the day.
Something is not nothing, and 13 is something, even if it is a little bit of damage. Okay, internet starts things off with a shot over the player onto Catwalk, and they will remain firm, holding in Connector with the M4, and anyone who wants to challenge their supremacy in this spot will surely be notified. They can't win this one out. Pango with the Deagle might be able to make something happen, and well, guess what? It's a shot to the brain, and they can win that one out. Here's Boobery, though, for the refrag, and they get it done. One last player, Yankee fan, have found some shots with the scout previously in this round. I don't think they're opting to challenge it. They'll wait for a player. Oh, a body shot over. Maybe a second one can come to Puberty, but now there's much more support, and they're going to run away and play for their life. They have to hold on to that rifle. They can't lose. They can't afford to lose any more players.
I think that was not as scary as some of the pistol rounds that we've seen from Siena in the past. Obviously, they did a little bit of damage there, and that's always going to be something that they want to continue to push for. But I feel like they can always do more now that they're back on AKs. Obviously, these have all stayed very, very close in terms of their round count. So it looks like they're going to play for that more aggressive peak. We see the op all the way up there already. Missed off shot onto the B site. So they're just kind of playing, but all of them are there. And so I think in a way, the previous efforts have kind of helped them a little bit, because Villanova is not cheating over that direction as much as they would have. Although, as I say that, you see them starting to look towards that Cat area and, you know, expect that there might be some rotation. But Siena getting stuck again is not going to be great for the way that they are hoping to execute on this. And Kwanya getting aggressive, going to find just a couple pixels onto OCU and remove them from the map entirely. So this is Siena trying to figure out how they're going to execute later into this round, and now with fewer players than when they started.
And it's such a interesting position right now. I mean, there's still 50 seconds left. They can make an execute happen over to A. 2 players looking toward Palace. If Loki is shot down early on, that will be a very difficult play to execute now without that Palace presence. No one will be looking toward jungle or the staircases. You've got nothing. A player on site default will be internet. They lose their life quite quickly, but now maybe Pango can turn this into something more. They lose out on the bomb. It's a trade, but it was a good enough run. Good for 2 at least. Maybe some pressure coming in from Gray out from Connector could be good. The shot onto Ticket is crucial, but you only have 13 seconds left. No, the kill around the corner won't be good. Kwanye finds one. They just gotta hide at this point. They have to run away.
Oh no!
Maybe this could be good for... Oh! He gets it! The wall bang from Yankee fan saves the day in a round that should not have won.
Wow, what a clutch to that. And what an addition to Yankee fan to the Siena team. That op play has single-handedly won them that round with the multiple kills that they got. And obviously that closer there, that was an excellent execution from their new player.
Yeah, definitely a great way to save the round. In my mind, there was no way they were winning it. It all started with Loki losing their life at the beginning of that execute. Getting shot while they were in Palace seemed to be a signal of the end. But it was some great plays from Gray, able to put on pressure from Connector to make those last couple of players on Nova shaky. They were moving around, and it even allowed someone to run into the crosshairs of Yankee fan, starting off with that final kill. A trade was put into Gray, so they lost their life, but the position was revealed on the side of that last one. So it was a gamble. It was the only option for Yankee fan to pull off there, and it came through in an amazing way.
Yeah, those are the kinds of rounds that we live for, and I'm really curious to see what the adjustments that Villanova are going to try to make off of this. And they've done, I think, a pretty good job in general of the keeping to the fundamentals of the CT side, right? You don't want to rotate too quickly. They've mostly dealt with the misdirection attempts from Siena pretty well. It's just kind of come down to those last few seconds of either, one-on-one peaks or something kind of similar to that, where they're giving people like Yankee fan the opportunity to get those one-on-one battles. And unfortunately for Villanova, Siena is just able to execute on that a little bit better. They're winning those duels, and that of course is keeping them very, very close. So I mean, we're 20 rounds in, 10-10, and this doesn't seem like anybody's in much of a position to pull away. Everyone's managing their money pretty well. But as I say that, Restroom takes out Yankee fan. That's the off the map for Siena. Pango, understanding there's somebody in that position, starts to go back for it. They're already moving away, and now all of the Siena team are just looking the wrong way at the wrong time. So they still have the bomb, they still have 3 players, but this is just getting a little bit more complicated for them to have to deal with whatever their execution plan is going to be, as OCU is out onto the B site, and it seems like Villanova is taking that as the opportunity to check there, but they're moving around, just trying to figure out what does Siena have up their sleeves.
Definitely some shots that are cause for concern, but a great nade out of Tubby. Kobe will remove OC, so that's no problem. Nice, a beautiful headshot removes Tubby from play. So the bomb will be planted. They do have some time to reposition themselves. A little bit of a decoy there from Gray. Doesn't really find what they're looking for. Follow that up with a smoke to create some space. And players on Firebox. Puberty just hoping they can run it down to the site. Might be able to get a second one out of Pango when they do. Restroom is all alone. The smokes aren't there. Well, actually, there is. But he can see the gun. He can see the gun.
Oh,
There it
no.
is. The wall bang onto Gray. They just got to run it down because at this point, there's no way they can get the defusal. There's no kits for Restroom. And they're deciding to play it safe and run away, save the rifle. Pango will die, though, so it's not a major loss for Nova.
It is, in a sense, a pretty not great situation for Siena, because that extra rifle means that they're going to have, at best, an extra Galil. Their money is just on that precarious position of what can we buy and what can we do, and we see that OCU has to opt for the P90. Well, we do see AKs across the rest of them, but along with that is no utility. So Pango, able to get a little bit aggressive there, is going to be able to catch out Tubby as he goes for that underpass aggression. So that means the team is going to be ready for it. Low-key takes out Tubby. I don't know. This is a tough position for Villanova to be in because they've got all their players towards the B site, but Siena has a little bit more map control and certainly a lot more information about what they might anticipate seeing with the rest of this round.
Okay, Reshiram comes in with a response, and that might be a possibility of an SMG recovery. See, you only had the P90, so it isn't a fantastic boon of firepower here. I mean, if Puberty could even find the P90, he's looking around the ladder room, just can't seem to get it.
Man, that is a horrible thing to have to deal with. Oh no!
Is it?
Oh,
Okay, all right.
He's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, he got it.
that was a smart play. I don't know if my brain's big enough to have thought about shooting it out of the corner.
And not much that they could do with it. The second they jump back into mid-window, they lose their life. Kwanye seems to be interested. Maybe they could get a frag for themselves the second they peek their head out from Cat. It is all over. And now the last two players are chilling by CT spawn. Might be able to get someone from Rusherum if they peek it through the little hole in the wall. That's all. Oh! Won't be the case. Pango seals the deal. Now it's just internet all alone. Might be able to recover that AK, though. I mean, there's only 15 seconds left. Now with the repeat from Loki, the second that they go around this corner for the CT check, it's the bad timing. Regardless, this was destined to be a Siena round.
I really like that round from Siena. I mean, there were a couple moments where you could see some opportunities for Villanova to come back into it. Obviously, the opening kill from Reshiram, eventually getting that P90. Those are certainly things that can make the difference as you play through the round. But Siena just kind of played this almost suffocating and frustratingly slow progression where they were able to just play as a team, keep everybody together, get those refrags if there was any situation where that might happen, and ultimately come out with that victory. Rushiram able to take out Pango is going to punish him for some of that early mid aggression without any utility to kind of give him some cover. So now Siena is on the slight disadvantage for the first time in quite a few rounds.
Main player right now is Gray coming out from the tunnel. They should be able to catch internet off guard if they continue this play, but I mean, the second that they show their face, it'll be Tubby Muffin from Cat there to make a play. Jumping on. Oh, yeah, it's the bench peek from Gray. Now they want some more. Internet realizes, nope, we're going to stop you right there. You won't go any further. Now we're at the regular execute of A. Well, they've gained no ground, just a bit of movement. They got into Tetris, that being Yankee fan, but what else do they have to work with? It's absolutely nothing in terms of positioning and no utility left to deal with or create space.
They're just kind of stuck. I mean, there's not a lot that they can really do there except for hope that they can find some opening. And we see them moving on to site, although Reshiram susses out the player from ramp. So CU is going to be spotted. Yankee fan does have some control, gets that first one on the internet. He knows that there's a second player there, almost gets a second, but Birdie able to win that aim battle. CU down to 5 health. That's a big ask for a little amount of health. And unfortunately for him, Reshiram cleans that up very quickly, opting for the AK, which is a little interesting because normally on the CT side, you're opting for that A1S a little bit more frequently just because it's been a little bit more useful as of late.
Yeah, it's great for spamming smokes, smoking off CT or T entrances, and then spraying them down. Okay, a little bit of a slow start there. Maybe try to figure out what they want to buy here. I mean, it's only pistols that have a tiny bit of utility. A Deagle there for Pango, P250 for low key. Nothing that we could really expect, but they're getting quite aggressive on the side of Nova, and maybe a little bit too close. If you're giving or cutting down the distance when you're facing a team on eco, you are in a position to lose your rifle and turn the advantage over to your opponents.
Yeah, this is really going to be Kwanye as the linchpin for this plan, because if he goes down to any of those 3 players, there is no one back on that B site to deal with that aggression onto that. So that means, in theory, a single kill should be a very easy bomb plant for the Siena team. Although the bomb is creeping back towards the entrance of T Apartments. Kwanye gets Yankee fan, and there's no one there to answer for that. That could have gone the other direction if they had stayed together, but Siena just seems to really, really be determined to just get as much coverage of the map as opposed to seeing that aggression. And now we see all these players coming out for this, just all going in favor of Villanova, with the exception of one kill from Loki onto Tubby Muffin, and that Pango coming out of a ramp trying to do something with a bomb, but that's been seen. He gets internet. This could be a bomb plant, but there is a lot of pressure to just not mess that up in the next 4 seconds.
Oh, and that's a perfect shot. That's gonna be everything. Finding that pick onto Gray is it's the key to win that one out. Without the pressure coming from tunnels, without that alternative angle that Siena can fight from, they will undoubtedly lose the round. But considering that they got the plant, they got 2 players killed on the side of Villanova, that is a successful eco round.
Agreed. I love the fact that this is just a blow for blow game, right? I don't think we've been separated by more than 2 rounds this entire game, and that has really spoken to the way that both of these teams are finding just a lot of different circumstances, both in their adaptation to one another's strategies, but also just the way that a lot of these the keys to battle have been the last 20 or 30 seconds max, as Siena has been kind of all over the place in where they want to go with this. Yankee Van able to get internet through that gap in the smoke. That is a consistent issue that the Villanova side has had, but Puberty immediately answers that, and everybody knows what's happening. Loki's going to try to flash himself out, and he gets that kill on a birdie, but is immediately traded out by Rusherum. So this is a 3-3 equalized attempt on the site. A lot of smokes down, a lot of people ready to take that. Oh, and that little pixel just visible through the smoke is going to give Tubby another kill, and there's just 2 players left on the side of Siena to take this, make that 1 as Yankee Van with the op. Maybe he's got something crazy up his sleeve. He does get that first opening kill. There's 2 left on the Villanova side. The bomb is down, so now Yankee has to defend that bomb with everything he's got.
It's the perfect setup. Oh, but they lost out on 1. Okay, well, there it is. There's 1. Here's the defusal cue, but if he just crouches, he should be able to be safe. And they are! You can't run around! You're not quick enough! They get the kill, but Nova gets the round!
Just another example of it coming down to those last few seconds, either on the bomb timer or the round timer, and I love seeing this because it's an incredible thing to be able to watch these rounds progress that they were, because they're always so close, and it's very difficult to predict what individual move or individual impact from a single player is going to make the difference. In that case, Yankee almost pulls it out single-handedly for his team, but the timing was just slightly off. But that was otherwise a great play from Siena to make the most out of that round. Oh, Yankee getting that opening onto Kwanye. That's going to open up that B site. There is 1 other player there, but is that going to make a difference?
They peek from the arches. Oh, Yankee took his time on that one. Even though there was a bit of pressure on coming from Mark, they are okay. Tubby Muffin peppers in some shots to Loki, and they'll finish off the kill. Yankee is so low back on Van, but they are still surviving. Oh, at least they were. Now it's all up to Gray. They've only got the scout, but a single shot from literally anything, even getting pegged with a nade before it explodes, will be enough to remove him from the fight. Actually, so they take out the Tech 9. Provide more value here. It's a quicker shot. Goes into the head. That'll be all they need. And not to mention, they've got 55 seconds. They've got plenty of time to make this work.
We're trying to draw out that peak. Both of these players are a single shout Scott down, and Gray takes out the high quality to be able to clear that out. But Jesus, that was close.
Yeah, that was way closer than it had any right to be. Getting that initial kill made it so much more doable because your last opponent was viable to get killed by that Tech 9. They could have just ran around, did a little bit of running gun, hit him with the Razzle Dazzle Viking, and that would have been Siena at 13, get the equalizer. But now it's a bit of a gap. Villanova is only 2 away from winning their first map here in this best of 2.
This is that dangerous territory where they don't really, Siena doesn't really have the option for ecos, right? They've just got to execute with what they have, and that's what we see in the buy strategy they have right now. Reshiram is looking for that opening palace kill, but doesn't see the pixels. So for now, it's just going to be a tense standoff, but Birdie able to get that first, but goes down to the MAC-10 from OCU, who gets a little bit more damage onto the players defending the A site. They are going to have the smokes down, nobody on that stairs position. There's a big gap in that smoke to CTs that comes out, and the CT side is just cleaning everybody up, and it's just Gray left with that scout. Made that nobody left as Internet cleans that up. That was a much faster execution that we've seen in the past, and ultimately could have gone the other direction with just a little bit less of a gap in that smoke, a little bit better timing. So the execution just wasn't quite there, but certainly the concept and the spirit is.
Yeah, just a bit of misplacement in terms of a bit of utility. Should have zigged where they zagged. And now we're at Villanova with 15 to 12. One more round to seal it off, and already Loki's dead. They don't have much to work with, but Yankee fan starting to make a case for themselves here in the tunnel. Make that the equalizer. It's 4v4, but the nade will put a bit of damage in. They don't even have a helmet, so they are very exposed as they continue their foray into mid. Look at all the utility that they're throwing at him. They're just giving them everything. They got a molly, 2 HEs, a flash even. Just stay where you are, Yankee. Don't go any further.
Toss everything in the kitchen sink at them. That's the strategy. And, with 1 round left, they don't really have much of a choice, do they? So they're going to peek through there. Kwanye is playing from that boost position. Isn't able to get any damage, but he is able to stay there for the follow-up. Gets 1 Tubby getting the other onto OCU. This is not the entrance onto the B side that they were hoping for, but with smoke going down, it's going to give them a little bit more of an opportunity. But Tubby takes out Gray, just Yankee fan with less than half health. There's not a lot he can do except for take out Reshram. There are 3 players left. Can he find any other kills before this is done? I don't know if they expected him from that marking position. Oh, Tubby clears it out very quickly, and this is going to go 16-12 in favor of Siena, in favor of Villanova.
Yeah, a strong finish there from Villanova. They really took it in the end. It was back and forth, but it was that one crucial round where Siena was so close to getting that W. I think it really all stemmed from being unable to stop the defusal from Villanova. That was just a big mental loss because the kills were there, the frags were on, but they just couldn't take out the round, and that is such a disheartening way to lose a round, especially one that was so critical that it allowed Nova to just walk away, skate away with the final 4 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how there was, for the majority of that map, no more, than 2 rounds separating them at any given time. But those last couple of rounds, just a couple mistakes, a couple things going the wrong direction, that that successful diffuse just being such a big difference maker. And that's exactly where that momentum just really, broke in favor of Villanova. And that was pretty exciting. So we're going to come back with a second map in just a little while. We're going to see Siena's choice of Overpass. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone. It's EGFC Counter-Strike. We're still in the series between Siena and Villanova. Nova able to close things out back on Mirage, but now we're here on Overpass, and it's time for Siena to maybe get some revenge. It was a very close game back on the previous map, so there's plenty of opportunity for them to come back, make their resurgence within the series. I'm Blows, joined by Viking, in case you guys can't read. But Viking, how are you feeling about Siena's chances in map 2?
I'm pretty excited about this. I mean, we saw obviously with both teams at full strength as they've kind of had some variations over the last few weeks for different reasons. That these teams are very very close. Obviously, Villanova had the advantage in the first round. It was also their map pick on Mirage, which is a fantastic map in terms of strategy and a whole bunch of other things that play into it. And now we're coming into Overpass, which has been one of the overwhelming favorite picks over the last several weeks across almost every team that plays. There's been some variation of this. So we're going to go ahead and see how Siena can play on their map pick. We've seen them do some interesting things in the past. We'll see if they continue with that strategy that we saw on the T side of Mirage, where they try to go for, kind of like a pseudo default with some misdirection in there and some late game breaks. Whether or not they're going to get away with that this time around and some of that success that we saw from them in the last map is to be seen. But I am very excited to see what these strategies end up being for both teams. And I'm very excited to see, especially what our boy Tubby Muffin can do on the side of Villanova. Having him back, obviously, been a big factor for their team.
Hey, you're speaking about misdirection. I will not forget that one so unfortunate misdirection play where B site was secured by the distractors, and the bomb was left in Palace. They lost it out. 4 CTs just sitting on it, and there's nothing you could do. So maybe maybe that gamble probably won't make a resurgence in this one. Hopefully it doesn't make a reappearance, or maybe there'll be a little bit more protection there for that bomb runner, because that was that was just a very unfortunate occurrence. However, plenty of time to figure out what the cases will be here. And let's check it out. We're jumping into Overpass.
One thing that's definitely better about this map compared to Mirage on the T side of it, you go for that misdirection, is obviously the rotates are a lot faster and you can put that bomb down in places that are easier to get from different positions. Obviously, we see that aggression coming towards the B site, a little bit of run boosting on a regular basis, but they're just going all in on this B site. A little bit of a mixed movement from the T side. Two groups kind of forming there, and that's led to some inability to get that overwhelming force in. There's a lot of CTs in that kill feed already cleaning up. Internet able to take out the last player on there. So great aggression from Siena. They are able to take out 2.5 members of the CT side, but ultimately go down with kind of a disjointed attack. There wasn't a lot of coordination between what ended up being two forward progress groups, and I think that was the real difference maker there.
Yeah, just having that position by barrels is critical. Also, there were a lot of bodies there to keep everyone safe, to be able to trade things out for Nova. So stalwart defense, but maybe there's going to be a bit of aggression this time around. But Kanye West loses their life, and they also lose an M4. No kills secured by Nova. 2 guns recovered by Siena. That is not how you want to start your anti-eco.
Yeah, this is kind of a similar result to what we saw from Siena on the last map. They had some real success in their straight pistol saves, and obviously this time around, they're able to get some really valuable weapons. But Reshiram able to take that up, and OCU in the back takes out Reshiram with the Glock. Tubby able to take out Gray on the other side, and Puberty gets Yankee as he tries to get out from long. That's going to leave 2 players left on each side with the health advantage going to the Villanova team. This could be dangerous as OCU gets Birdie on the rotation as he tries to jump down into water. So make that 1 player from Villanova, which is left between those 2 Siena teams, trying to bring this back to the Villanova side.
Oh, might have just caught the head there of OCU, and he does finish it off. Unsure of where the last player will be. He wants to check out jungle, rightfully so. There is 1 player by Sandbags. Second that this bomb hit with the defusal, they got to make a move. It's a fake out. Loki doesn't buy it, though. They're going to wait until there's enough time to ensure that there can be no defusal there. And W Muffin loses it out. And the big prize here for Loki is a brand new car. It's actually an M4, but
Gotta pick the prettiest one. That's how you win. Skins equals wins. Everybody knows that strategy. It's a classic, and I think it's just a momentous change for Siena there. I mean, they went into that round with almost no investment whatsoever, and they came out with a bunch of M4s, a single person surviving, and obviously a round win, which is huge for them. So Villanova back on the offensive here, just one deagle with a smoke and a flash. They're going to be trying to aggressive into that connector area. Tubby comes down and meets his fate to Pango. Pango able to get a couple more shots in through the wall. This is a Villanova team trying and hoping that somebody's going to come down into that connector area, but they're looking the wrong direction initially. Loki comes in, takes out 2, 3, and the last one, oh boy. Loki just had a fish in a barrel shoot there, and unfortunately for Villanova, they were able to get a whole 60 damage for their trouble.
I was looking like a war crime Viking. That was just terrible. Siena coming through massive with stolen guns. Mind you, at M4 as the main oppressor, and that one coming from low key. An unfortunate 3 rounds, or following 2 rounds there for Villanova, and they still don't have enough cash to bring a response through.
And that's just a really difficult place to be when you're a CT, right? There's no bones for how you complete a round. There's no bomb to put down. So with that, they're still on those pistols, and the one upgraded pistol that they have is already gone. Sorry, there is one other in that deagle, but whether or not Birdie's going to get a chance to use that is to be seen. They're playing all the way back on the A site, so they do have the opportunity for there, but great. Everybody from the Siena team just coming from all angles, able to take out any setup or any hope that Siena had of getting a couple of those cheeky kills. So now it's entirely on Birdie to make something of that deagle and try to get something down, but that smoke off bank is going to make that a difficult ask. And hopefully Siena is going to push into that bank for the sake of Birdie, but right now they're just kind of stuck.
Oh, completely eats the nade, says, I will survive this. I've been through worse, and they removed Gray from the server. They do manage to walk away with 1 frag. I mean, it's better than completely getting shut out. No flawless round here for Siena, but they get the plant, they get the win, and they get a whole lot of cash for it.
Not bad for the T side. This is a great start. I mean, you got Loki. It's round 5, and he's already got 10 grand. So this is obviously going very well for Siena's original opening side. Villanova finally able to buy some firepower. Going to see how they do, but notably, not a lot of head armor, not a lot of utility, and on this map, just like any other map at a high level, is critical. So they're going to have to do the best with what they've got and hopefully be able to string a couple rounds together, because if they lose this, they're looking at least another round, probably 2, that are going to go in favor of Siena, and that's when you start to see these gaps really get out of control, and a very, very difficult hill for Villanova to climb to try to get back into that, especially given that they're on the CT side right now.
There it is. OC will lose their life. That barrel, it's almost like a bait. They might see it sticking out through the middle and think, oh, yeah, I just turn a little bit more. Well, Internet's here to deal with anyone who gets a bit too excited, but now we have the execute all players coming from A long. The first one to make the contact would be Loki, and they get 2.
That's the risk of that strategy. They didn't have anybody watching long from the actual site, so that means a very easy, casual, walk through the park for Siena to come up there. Yankee playing from that bank position is going to find Tubby, and it's just Rusherum and Puberty left trying to do something. Loki does go down, and a little bit of revenge for earlier in the round, but Yankee's still holding that hard angle, and with 2 players left on the side of Villanova against a 3 in great positions, make that 1. That's going to be an easy call to save for Rusherum with just 3 HP left.
Yeah, they had that strong position down mid in the toilets. However, when that call was realized, they knew that 2 players were there, so they thought, okay, well, you guys have fun in the bathroom. We're just going to run it down long and take site that way, and they did it perfectly. And once they got established, all the players attempting to rotate had no chance of making it through, especially with the hard hold from Yankee and Bank. And that's 4 rounds in a row here coming in for Siena.
That's got to be a huge confidence booster for them, knowing that after that investment, the Villanova team is not going to have any real answer for this. They do have Rusherum with the M4. That's going to be great, but based on how things have gone so far, that's not going to be enough of a difference maker to take out 4 heavily armed Siena teams. And even if they get through this, they have plenty of reserve cash to make sure that they can buy whatever they want going into the next round. They're favoring this A site as they should. Yankee's going to find Kwanye out on long, and I think he got maybe just a little bit of a hint that there's going to be more people coming on that A site, but largely one person in bathrooms, and the rotation starts from Villanova, and they really don't have much of a choice, right? There's not a lot of weaponry for them to deal with the aggression, so they've got to do everything they can to keep whatever advantage they can eke out.
Okay, Puberty keeps ducking back and forth between Dice, attempting to get a shot through, but they will be able to. Well, never mind. They died. It was a quick execute there. Puberty loses their life. Maybe a good deke from low or onto Loki. Good to earn them an AK as they attempt to make this retake. 2 players coming from the back. One in bank, one from dumpster. A long play from internet. All the way in connector. At this point, I'm not sure what they're doing. They're really taking their sweet time. It might be an attempt from Tubby to just take some shots before they went out the round. Internet, with just some armor and the USP, decides, well, we'll just sit this one out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault them for that decision. Obviously, like you're only saving $650 or $650 with that armor, but I guess there's a little bit of pride maybe that they're saving alongside that. That armor is valuable as they come into this. He did take just a smidge of damage, which means he's gonna have to invest that full $1,000 into buying up into the armor. Although obviously with him, I'd probably opt just to not buy head armor, because why would you with the AKs and the op on the other side? So this is I mean, it's going to be a pretty good buy from them. You notice a variety of weapons already. It looks like they're going to try to make decisions about whether Rustrum's going to go for that op or not. He opts with a T to not go for that. So there's going to be a bunch of M4s, which might be the right choice. I mean, it gives them a little bit more flexibility. And as I say that, the op comes out. So never mind. My analysis was entirely wrong.
Looks like they opted for the op. Do you know that
Oh, that makes it so. When you say it in succession like that, it's just infinitely harder.
since we're in Germany right now, did you know that Obst is fruit?
Fruit?
Opting for the Obst with an op, perhaps.
Hmm.
No, maybe not. Maybe not. Well, we'll leave the linguistic lessons outside of this cast for now. At least could be time for a resurgence here for Nova. They've got the money. They've got the op on internet. A few diffusers. Happy to see that. I mean, it's not like they ever even had a chance to go for a defusal. They've all been eliminated before anyone can even get a successful retake going. But this might be the time, Viking. This might be the time that they can bring it back and run a successful retake.
I believe so hard. And mostly because I want to see a lot more of the back and forth that we saw from Mirage. So far, obviously, this is going very heavily in favor of Siena. And they've been doing an excellent job going through the motions on all this, getting these kills. We see Loki just take out Puberty, playing from that rock position up long. This time, Villanova is a little bit better prepared for that by playing farther back on site, so they're ready to deal with that. Internet gets the flash, but takes out Loki. Tubby on the other side of the map takes out OCU. So this is a much better position for Villanova. I feel like they've learned that turtling a little bit is the better way to deal with some of this early round aggression, and that's definitely worth giving up some of that early map information in exchange.
Internet there with another shot, but they miss it. They have to send out the molly. Oh God, it's enough to stop a rush,
bold
but
move.
I almost thought for a second, like, no, Internet, that's the wrong grenade. They do have a smoke though. They could have dropped that, but to stop that rush might have been the better move, albeit seemingly crazy in the beginning. A flash out from Tubby. Here's the swing. There's the kill. And Nova denies the site completely and win the round, losing only Puberty.
That's exactly the momentum swing that I was talking about, to try to work back towards that equalization and a much closer map overall. Siena, I think they had a great opening pick over onto the long side. They were pushing up that direction. Unfortunately, losing OCU onto B just sort of gave them a little bit of pause, and that pause, I think, has been sort of their Achilles heel in a lot of these maps, right? A little bit of that hesitation, creating a little bit of confusion, and I think part of that is just sort of a lack of defined progression once something that they're planning for starts to break down. So if Villanova can continue to kind of push them off their game, get some of those early kills in their favor, I think that's going to make a big difference. Just as I say that, a missed flash could make a little bit of a difference, but we got this double there. Oh, right into the crosshairs of Birdie, and there goes Loki. I'll see you going down, or sorry, going down to a bunch of health, but it doesn't matter because he just clicks away at that Tech 9, takes out 2 players from the Villanova side, and all of a sudden, this is looking much, much better for Siena.
Tech 9, what a piece of hardware. Uh-oh, almost taken out. But that player runs to the back. Restroom doesn't want to risk their life, and rightfully so. They only had one shot with Yop. They lost it, and that could be a critical error. There's 2 players. They're so low, but not a single piece of or actually, no, they got 2 HEs. They can send those out. And there's one blinded. Gray goes down. It's a Kobe. Still another possibility over by Optimus if they want to send it by. That is going to be just a difficult decision to make on the other end. They've got nothing left. Restroom with the op. Tubby with the M4, and they're going back and forth. They don't know what they want. They're not sure if they want to make the execute. But at this point, it's way too late. And it might even be too late to run away for the save. No, they'll have plenty of time. And although they found some strength in the previous round, they will have to opt for the save, even though keep a majority of their, serious firepower is the op on Restroom. Let's be honest.
Of course, yeah. And they've made pretty good use of that. I mean, it's disappointing to see Villanova unable to string that second round together to try to, continue to build that momentum in their favor, especially as they're still dealing with a 4-round deficit. Given at any given time, you can swing immediately the other direction, and we could see Villanova win 8 rounds in a row, without an answer from Siena. But right now, Siena's doing an excellent job of holding on to sort of the mental momentum and obviously the round benefit. So we're going to see how Restroom can play around this heaven position with the op. See if Siena, who's for the first time not putting really any presence towards that A long, is going to do anything. But there goes the head of Tubby Muffin. But Restroom and Internet immediately trades out for 2. But this is still in favor of Villanova ever so slightly, and it seems like Siena is really opting to go directly for that B site. Restroom with an excellent Gobi from that. You don't need to see to throw grenades. That's the beauty of explosives, baby.
That's 2 blind nades in a row for these rounds. Previously actually flashed away and another through the smoke. Siena's got no options here. I mean, they could go in guns blazing, but they do have 2 flashes if they want to make a play. However, that idea has faltered as Puberty decides, nope. No, you're not coming through here. And now they have a double peek set up. It's done. Wanye and Puberty lock things out. 4 alive. A great round for them to recover. But can they get the momentum? Because they haven't been able to follow up in a successful round with either of these victories.
Yeah, you kind of wonder where that version of the Villanova team is in others. And I think the key to that has largely been how they're playing around that forward A position. We're seeing them play up higher in bathrooms, or in this case, they're being incredibly aggressive to look for Fountain. They do miss that shot and just lose a little bit of damage onto Restroom, so they're going to have to fall all the way back towards site, which is the smart move, because as we've seen in the past, if they lose that long position or that forward bathroom position, the rotates have just been a little bit delayed, which largely is because we've seen what they did on that first map in Siena's part of committing just enough to make you wonder, but not enough to be certain as to what's going to happen. A little bit of a misplacement of that smoke is going to force Kwanye out of that corner, and the entire Siena team is now angling towards this A position. And Villanova, still not moving off of that B site, doesn't seem convinced that that's actually going to be where they choose to exit.
Some blind op shots because you might as well go for something. Kwanye loses it out on mid, and this is the time to move. They aren't able to go through as W Muffin sends a good wallbang over onto Loki. However, it's going back and forth. 2 Kobe's in a row, Viking. Oh my god. We got ballers on either side of the server. But now the control of A has been going over to the way of Siena. Both players on the side of Nova, they're in the back. One's through bank, one's by dumpster. They both got up, so this is just going to be an absolute mess for this retake.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they're even going to go for it at this point. You see, they're kind of dealing with the fact that there's just a lot of smokes on the side of Siena because they didn't use really any in their execution. So Villanova choosing to back off and save the 2 ops, which didn't really do a whole lot for them in this round. And it's tough to see that because I mean Villanova has continued to struggle with Siena's play style, and either that's like we talked about in the last round, they're giving up that long A position just by losing out in a frag battle or something like that, and not having a backup player in the A site that's capable of holding off the Siena side. But on the other front, they're not rotating a player early enough, and I feel like at this point, we're 10 rounds in, going into the 11th. The Villanova should know that if Siena is finding that opening towards the A site, 7 out of 8 times, that's what they're going for. So I'd like to see them rotating a little bit earlier, using a little bit more of that counter utility, which of course, just comes with the territory of how you got to play this map from the fundamentals. So we're going to see. And Internet's playing up in this forward position. He's going to catch the smoke. He does. There's low-key down already, but we're going to see if that really matters to Siena, because we've certainly seen them play back very successfully from a 4-5 deficit this early in the round.
I mean, finally they found success with that aggressive play. I will not forget what happened in round 2, where they lost 2 rifles and 2 players to pistols over by Party. So they have to do a bit more to make up for that error. I mean, 2 dead already. It was a good start. Last 3 over by Connector. They're going for that boost, but I think it's just out of the range. Tubby Muffin doesn't know it. Tubby Muffin doesn't know, but Osiu is there to take a shot. Now here's the return. There's the revenge, and there is the signal. There's at least 1 player over in water, so rotation coming through. Internet will be there to provide support, but they already have a ton of eyes looking toward B.
This is a dangerous place for Siena to be as they're trying to maintain this lead, and this looks like an opportunity for Villanova to get their 4th round, and they do have a lot of late round utility to play around. We have multiple ops watching that B site, so this seems like Villanova's round to lose.
Smoke to lose out on vision. They have a flash. They will both have to make a move off of this one. There goes the only utility for them to work with. Up in heaven. They missed the shot. They try to jiggle away, but there's Puberty for the support. They got a little confused with the fact that they didn't die after seeing that player through the doorway, so I guess they just wanted to move. Finally, Nova able to get another round here for themselves. Still able to turn things around. Again, Tyler, unable to link 2 rounds in a row.
You hate to see that. You really do. I mean, you want more momentum because that's going to give you that bank to play around. But we see, how that deficit is played out already. Villanova, 4-7 is closing that gap slowly but surely. But it's based on the trend that we've seen. Even when they win this, they're going back to, say, 4 and 8. So this is really up to Villanova to break that pattern and do the best that they can. Internet missing that initial op shot is going to make that a little bit more difficult, but he does land a pretty solid nade. He all the way down to 14 HP is going to make that a little uncomfortable for him, at least as they go into it. But as we've seen in previous rounds, Siena has a dominant map position in this forward A area, and that should finally trigger Villanova to say, hey, we've seen this before. We're going to move towards that A site. And unless Siena chooses to pull out, which is you see that bomb looking towards Connector, this could be a great play for them.
Oh, it's all up to low-key right now. Going around this corner. Oh, if they just see... Oh, there it is. There's Kwandier. That's a kill. That is a lot less pressure. But once Internet decides they want to have some fun, it allows the rest of the crew to fall down as well. But this is a feint. They've already rotated the players off of A, or off of B, and now it's the free plant there for Siena. And when you're dealing with this retake, you're going to have to wonder, how will you hold it down? The smoke's off to heaven. That removes 2 ops viability from play. The second they jump out from the doorway, it allows OCU to find 1, but it will be traded out without a problem. Resher and Tubby Muffin getting the job done. Villanova finally chained 2 rounds in a row.
It is indeed finally Villanova's time to crack that pattern, that curse that they've been experiencing. They're going to finally bring that round differential within 2, which is an exciting place for them to be because there's only a couple rounds left in this half. And on the CT side, you want to get as many rounds as possible. Obviously, you want to do that on any half, but especially for this map on the CT front, where you've got that benefit of the rotation. But that was almost punishment for Siena, where they hadn't really done much of that misdirection that we saw on Mirage. That was the first time that we saw that, and obviously it worked out really well just because of how they had set up in previous rounds. Whether that's consciously done or not, it's hard to tell, but it worked out for them. So I kind of wonder if in the last few rounds of this half, they go back to something similar.
Yankee fan, I'll be the first one to... Oh no, I thought they were way closer. Never mind. They were in jungle. They were going for some wall bangs, as you can see by that absolutely destroyed piece of board there. Even some more. Very dangerous position. Yankee fan actually took a couple of bullets there, so you can see they're only down to 59 health. Still livable situation. But it's causing a bit of second guesses, right? So we see this movement from Tubby Muffin no longer in jungle. They jump back up to heaven to have that angle. But still in this moment, we will have two players holding it down on A. If they can win this gunfight, that makes it way easier. Puberty wins it out. Gray does lose their life. And it brings even a bit more security. It tightens the grip. And now there's the smoke outside of the bathrooms. They don't have much room to work with, but they'll just run on through it. They only got pistols. They got to close the gap somehow. And this will start off with Kwanye on the left side of the dice, but they're smoked off right now. So it all depends on Puberty. Can they get another one? They do. It's a great shot, but Yankee fan is here for more. They find two in turn.
Those deagles are super dangerous, and that's two almost opening up that site. They're going to catch where that op was. He's going for that third. That's a third headshot deagle. Yankee fan is carrying his team on his back on his own. I see you getting it there. That's a 1-to-1. This is crazy.
And is this a pistol duel? Okay, no, he's got the M4. But OCU runs up. They try to seal the deal. Unfortunately, they cannot get it done. Oh, yeah, internet's happy about that victory. That was such a crazy one. But really, the winners of that have to be Siena. Look how much damage they did. They got the bomb down. They got everything they wanted to save for a victory there. So that's a good way to have that eco round. It was all on the back, really, of Yankee fan in that moment. That was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, those are the rounds that were reminiscent of Mirage that we were talking about, you know, coming down to those last few seconds, those 1v1s. It's certainly great to see. I was worried for a second, as you were, if like, oh my God, is that a pistol duel with all those weapons that are just down around the site? But
Honor, Viking.
There you go. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to pull out the swords or whatever. This could be incredibly dangerous for Reshiram. He overstayed his welcome and just barely gets out with his life. I cannot believe that Siena allowed him to get out with that op in his life. That's crazy to me. And now looking at the Siena side, there is a crazy amount of damage that's been done to them by grenades. So they're basically starting, 3/5 of their team on half health. That is not where they want to be.
No, certainly not the start they're looking for. Kwanye. Oh, that was not a kill that they were expecting to get. That's not what I expected them to find either. And now the walls are closing in a bit, right? So they have a player in toilet. They have one going down on long. They have to worry about Puberty as they want to get aggressive, and there's just nowhere for Pango to look. There's so many different angles that are being attacked from, and they're on the attack. They're the T's right now. They shouldn't be facing this kind of aggression.
I was going to say, it feels like they swapped roles a little bit there.
Now it's just up to Gray. Do something, maybe get a kill, maybe just live it out, because the money is really tight on the side of Nova. If you could just do some damage economically, that would be your best bet. Either that or go for the save. Neither option will be viable there for Siena, so Villanova come back with the equalizer.
Yeah, this is almost exactly what we saw happen at the end of Mirage, right? We saw Villanova just get a couple rounds. It started those wheels turning, and the momentum just started to run downhill for them. So that's been a huge, huge difference maker here as they've run the last 4 rounds in a row, I think, to close that gap that they were dealing with originally. So now equalize into the half is good a position as they could hope to be in for now. But Pango trying to say something about that is going to take out internet, but immediately traded back by Tubby Muffin. That's a 1-for-1, and now there's just Tubby Muffin on this side trying his best to hold it down. He does find low-key. More of those players are trying to flood onto site. Yankee takes that out, takes out Tubby. Rip Tubby. Kwanye still on that side. Now Siena's trying to figure out what do we do with it. Gray with that scout's not going to be able to do a whole lot from this, I would assume. But they have started to move away from that. Kwanye takes out Gray. That is the last member on directly on the site.
Oh, the Yankee shimmy right now.
Oh man, if anybody rounds that corner, it's gonna be a really awkward moment.
This is high level coordination. Oh, Kwanye.
He just
They
walks
move
away from
right
it.
out at the worst
Oh
time.
no.
But hey, that's free sight. They can just run on. They can get the plant. Smoke's down. Heaven's blocked off. They can get the plant, but you got to worry about Monster. It will be Yankee Fan who finds that resistance. And Kwanye West, good for 2 to finish off the round. Look at that comeback. That's 5 in a row for them to save the day, save the half, come out on top, only by 1 round, mind you, but it's still enough to show that they've got what it takes after struggling to find successive rounds.
They closed that 4-round gap and turned that into a 1-round lead. So Villanova on 8-7 is a great position to be in coming into the T side. But Siena has had a pretty successful, I think, outing on this, especially if we consider a lot of their previous games on this map. I'm kind of curious to see how they play that. We will have those overlays swapped in just a second. So remember, Villanova is on the T side right now.
Oh, it's a full-on rush coming in from Nova. Sending a lot of players down A long, but deciding to take a deep... What the heck is going on here? Certainly not a successful play. I mean, they lost out on Kwanye, and you can see a bunch of players running through connector. But now we only have low key. They're the last one here, but they're chilling by Monster. They're gonna hang tight as they allow Yankee Fan, who's been goated throughout this series, to find those kills. And there is the stop of the plant. Yankee Fan and Loki get it done. And this has been a, well, I'm going to say it's been an interesting plan.
Very much so. Oh, a little bit of a little meeting in the back there by the dumpster. That is going to equalize it immediately. So Siena opening up again, winning a pistol round. That seems to have been sort of their piece de resistance over the last couple of rounds that they have been on pistols and done really well there. So we do see this equalization. Villanova opting not to invest anything back into this round, not to force up. They're just going to look for those 3rd round AKs, try to get a couple kills off there. Maybe they'll be able to pull off what Siena did. Oh. All right, OCU, we see you.
Oh, he didn't get that one. He's got to run now. Sends out the flash. Oh, might go for a little bit more because that's some serious green, but he does somehow this man walks away with a kill. Gets enough damage so Gray can get the Kobe. Now Kwanye, only 6 HP. I don't even know what they're trying to... I think they just gave up on this round.
Yeah, I think that might have been the case. That was an excellent opening by OCU.
Oh, wait a minute. Kwanye is acting like a decoy.
What is happening?
Right? So he just went to the smoke and shot into the ground. Maybe so Siena would assume he's a decoy.
I can honestly say that I've not seen that done before. That was an interesting strategy. There was, I guess, some success in that. Obviously didn't give the results they were looking for, but it did seem to confuse the Siena team for at least a couple seconds.
Today's blunders are tomorrow's clutches.
Yes.
No, not very believable on that one, I would have to say.
I mean, this could be the new meta that we see. We've got 1 more week of matches left. People watching this, they put that down in their notebook and they say, okay, throw down the smoke with the scout. Just shoot a bullet every few seconds. Be the decoy for your team instead of spending that $50. It's a smart investment choice.
Yeah, why spend 50 when you could spend 300, right?
Exactly.
Oh man, that was well, they tried. Villanova, they got some money now. They got some AKs on the board, so it should be a bit more of a doable round. Not the best weapons, seeing as Siena. They got 2 scouts, the P90, Famas only 1 M4 to name, and maybe some better situations coming out here for Noah, and a lot more attempts for underground control. Internet does get one to the chest from the scout. OCU doesn't walk away scot-free, so they will be spotted out, and that's going to be it for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, that flash just really got him and got stuck on the stairs there. Otherwise, I think that he probably would have gotten away with that and maybe gotten a second shot off and maybe one of the 3 players. Siena getting really aggressive there is going to lose low T to Kwanye, who is just kind of sitting there waiting for the flank. Braid does equalize, taking out Tubby, or sorry, takes the advantage back in their favor. So Siena in a mixed position here, right? Like, right, yeah, what you said, not the best firepower in terms of what they have available to them. You know, Gray's down pretty significantly there, and there are 4 players on the Villanova team. However, the scouts can still do quite a bit of damage. So we'll just refrain from making any predictions because they seem like they are confident in their movement, and we see all the Villanova team going back towards that. Everybody stopping to pick up that Empress just because, you know, it looks a little prettier.
Okay, there we go. Nice start there for Kwanye. Getting the shots of seeing those boots. Actually, I mean, no, a finisher for Kwanye, I guess, because Siena's got nothing left at this point. They're hanging out by jungle. Maybe they want to get some final kills. At this point, might be able to find some success. Oh, Kwanye is low. The Kobe. Imminent. Not necessary. Because Pango's good for the shot with the scout.
Oh,
Pango does pay with their lives on the repeat. And then we'll get the plant. Villanova back at it. 9-9. No one's getting ahead of themselves in this one.
Yeah, it was a little testy at the end there. Certainly, when you look at the clock and you see there's less than 10 seconds left and the bomb isn't down yet, you get a little nervous. But the Villanova team able to rally, able to take out all of those players over just dealing with a whole graffiti mob there, if you will. You know, like you said, equalized it 9-9. This is feeling significantly closer to what we saw in the first half of Mirage going into the second before Villanova picked it up and ran away with it.
Had to try about 3 times to pick up the bomb. Sometimes.
I've been there. We've all been there.
Okay, a much slower. Uh-oh. Tubby Muffin peeked out from the connector. Only find a little bit of resistance coming their way. Not enough to get him killed, but enough to think twice about it. So they back off in the connector. Come back for the repeat. Should be safe for now. However, Loki is in some danger as... Actually, no. Wait a minute. They want it out. Good timing on them. Distraction on the side of Puberty. They didn't have to worry about it. Now it's a free upgrade. They got more to work with. So far, even though they have the disadvantage in terms of firepower, things are looking good for Siena. Another one goes down. Pango with a great headshot off the scout. Well, there's the trade from Internet. It's 3-on-3. A lot of damage, though, peppered into Nova players.
It is a big threat still available there, although Tubby with a perfect position is going to get that spray down. Almost gets the third, but just can't quite connect on it. But Internet got his teammates back. Going to take out OCU with that headshot, and this is going to be the 10th round on the board for Villanova. So now the lead is for them to lose. This is quite the reversal that we saw in the first half. So it feels like both of these teams equally feeling just very comfortable on the T side.
Now that's that good trigger discipline. Tubby Muffin could have gone for 1, but realizing there was more, and they were not going to bank, that was just a critical play for them. Able to get 2, because that was a very winnable situation for Siena right there. They had some SMGs, very damaged players on the side of Nova, so the retake was well within their means. Now starting things off, 1 for OCU. Internet there for the trade, however, only 9 HP. Another one of those times where the minute amount of health that they're running into an execute is going to have a factor. We could have another Gobi here.
I mean, the way that this map has been going so far, I think that grenades have to be the second biggest killer after the rifle, which, you know, that's a lot. That's just what it is. That's all I've got to say on that matter. Thank you for listening.
Let Tyler talk.
Yeah, well, you know, I try to bring that really valuable insight into each one of our maps, but sometimes the information just flows, and other times you end up with some John Madden.
Okay, well, we got Loki getting right into the face of the enemy, and every time that a trade has occurred, at least within this round, the surviving player will walk out with such little health. Now we got 6 for Puberty. Now we have both Reshram and Kwanye in scouting range of health. So they've got such little health to work with. Here's a flash over to Sandbags, expecting some more resistance, but it's a rotation over through Connector. Well, we've already got 1 player. It's Yankee Fan. They don't exactly need that scout. I mean, they got a little bit of a bigger tool in their box, and there's the up shot. Finds one, backs off because, you know, they've got some support. They got 2 other teammates ready to help them out with some better hardware for this situation. Flashes out on Restroom. Pango will be the supporting player. They realize the shot is there. Finally get it done.
That almost could have gone the opposite direction. That position that he was playing from in front of Truck there, really only good for probably that initial surprise as they were trying to play through that flank. But you never know. We've seen individuals do even more with less. But Siena keeping up with that trend brings it back to a 10-10, and now the side of Villanova taking that time out, trying to decide what they want to do. Their dollars are enough for them to buy. Not fully, though, so that's going to be a little bit of a question as to how they want to manage the remainder of their economy. And they are going to have to win this and then win another after that. And the same is true for Siena. Both of these, they've, again, come back to that exact same position that we saw in the first half of Mirage. They're both keeping each other at basically a 1-round bye situation, right? Where they lose, they are able to bring that back by into the next round. They win. They keep switching back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And that's how we end up with the timeline, the round timeline that we're on right now. Score line is what the actual word that I was looking for is. And that's been just fun to watch. These teams seem to have kind of randomized strategies that are coming into some of these rounds.
That's a good way of putting it.
It's kind of hard to tell, how they're playing off of their defaults. And a lot of the times it feels like their early round strategies kind of break down as things progress, which their adaptations for that obviously going one direction or the other round by round, which is fun to watch. A little hard to figure out what to tell them to say, because obviously I know that they listen to the stream while they're playing and look for those Tyler coaching tips. But we're gonna see how Siena deals with this, playing deeper up into that. Yankee with that off, taking out Guanya. He's a very dangerous player and super important. But our boy Tubby Muffin takes out OCU, moves up into that connector position, and we're at this 1-to-1 trade. But Tubby, low on health, gonna try to do his best to play some value for the rest of his team with the remaining HP that he's got.
Wallbang potential there. Tubby Muffin should not be the one who's taking those shots, though. A single stray bullet will be a GG for them if they do survive. So they're going to be okay for now. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Good number 9 right now. That's Gray. Expecting company, and he's got the trigger discipline good enough for 2. Not expecting the 3rd, but that's good enough. And now it's created such a tough scenario for them because, well, they lost their element of surprise. They know where they're going. And wait a minute. Oh, they've been spotted out. That's the bomb, too. Puberty all the way on the other side of the map. No bomb in hand. 40 seconds left. The recovery is possible. But is it even plausible?
That's a tough ask. There's a lot on Birdie's shoulders here. Although they do get the first one, so that's low key down. They're going to be able to see that that flank out from that short position, or not the flank, the push. Pango just pulling back. They say, why should we bother? There's only 20 seconds left. They know that they have to go for that B site if they're going to get any sort of plant down. He's going to go for that flash. Pango playing from the water position is not going to give a whole lot of options, but jumps right over his head. Birdie almost dropped right on top of him. Pango able to keep his wits together. It takes out Birdie to close out the round. Siena tearing back that lead from Villanova's grasp. They're going to be up 11-10, and Villanova has to answer, but there's not a lot of cash on the board to do that, so this could be the 12th round for Siena, and then we'll see what happens from there.
I mean, that's a great round, a necessary one, because they were looking quite the broke boys. I mean, both teams were terrible in terms of money after that previous round, so this is going to be a tough one for Nova. But I mean, we've seen them, we've seen either of these teams, to be honest, find success in eco rounds. This is going to be a full eco save for a Deagle and a P250 coming out from Nova. Deagle's already down. Now it's just up to that P250 in Restroom. Maybe they can find the success. Maybe, wait a minute, take a look at internet number 1 on your screen. Might have a chance to get Gray by surprise. Convert that into a rifle, but Gray...
Oh, they just went past each other.
Yeah, Gray
2
doesn't
ships
want to
in the
lose
night. Oh, that's unfortunate.
I don't even know how that happened.
I don't either. I mean, I know that they were without armor, but you'd think you'd probably want to move away from the Molotov. Gray feeling out internet, cleans the round, or cleans out the last of the Villanova team. Clean end to the round. Villanova now in a position to buy back. They're going to have full armor, full rifles, and most of their grenades. And they really have to go all in on these rounds to pull this back. And we're getting to that time of the game where Siena on the 12th round, if they win this back, that's going to force Villanova onto another save. And this is very, very close to going entirely in Siena's favor. So Villanova's got to do their best impression of themselves from the last map, claw back that opening, come back to it. But Yankee Fan taking out internet is going to be that opening kill. CU pushing down into connector is going to get the second from Tubby Muffin. He's got the flash. He's going for it. Low-key trying to take out that battle. He finds Puberty. There's just 2 players on the Villanova side, and this is all crumbling down around them in just 30 seconds into this round.
Okay, Reshiram and Kwanye finding some responses. Finally, they have that impact because it was all seeming to fall apart, but they have a bit of stability now. But no real control. I mean, they did make it a pillar. They're on graffiti, so they can make this work out. They just have to push their way over and get the bomb planted. Now the game is in their favor. Now there's a molly up. It stops the angles being taken from heaven. So this is a doable situation. We have a potential flank coming in. And yeah, 2 players jumping into the water. Might be even more. Go from sandbags. I think they're expecting it because Reshram's looking down Monster. No one's coming that way. So if you split up these players, if you find one by Monster, there's Reshram. They're good for 1. And now it's left Gray in a confusing situation. They aren't sure where the pressure is coming from. But here comes the defusal. They're expecting the peak, but now they have to make the commitment. There is no time left, and it will be a Villanova victory because time is not in Siena's favor, and neither were the numbers.
Very well played to both Reshiram and Kwanye. They are going to give up their lives to win that round at the end there to the bomb. But that was an excellent play by them to bring back what was a incredibly dire situation, ultimately leading to a victory in that round. So they are staying in it, and they are in a position where they don't have a ton to come back to. So they're going to be against Siena at full strength. But if they can keep up the aggression and just keep playing the way that they just did, this is potentially going to be their 12th round.
Oh, great start there for
Boy,
Kwanye.
it just looked like Toxic. Oh, why are they not checking Toxic?
Oh, and that is going to be an issue for them. Yankee Fan might be able to circle around, but no. Just the spam through the smoke will be enough, but it stopped them long enough for the bomb to not be planted. There is a possibility for the retake. Oh my god, he just didn't see him. Pango didn't see him. They didn't get the shot in. Oh my.
Oh no, that
Lord.
nade. Oh,
No
that could have been
Kobe.
a double Kobe.
Kobe. Will be the case, and oh, it's just single shots taken here by Puberty. And getting the job done. Pango, the last one alive. He didn't find the shot earlier when it was right in front of his eyes. Just to blend it in within the sights. And there's internet. They saved the day. They got out of this seemingly difficult round. But it just all fell apart for Siena. They weren't able to capitalize on those early picks.
Yeah. I mean, this is all going according to the script, Los. We're getting those clawed back rounds, keeping this as even as possible. Siena is probably going to be giving out their 13th round here over to the side of Villanova with no investment onto the pistols there. Save, are those dualies again? Is Gray got dualies? Oh, well, he doesn't have nothing no more, so... Yeah, we'd like to see that aggression. It was something. But we do see that Siena has moved all the way through Party and Fountain, and now we're going to flank around into that long area, but they're moving so slowly that by the time we get there, probably not going to be a concern. But Birdie takes out his teammate, and Tubby having kind of a rough match as it relates to some of that team damage. But they don't seem to be expecting the flank from long at this point. So, again, the timing has been off. They're just going so slowly that they're kind of losing that element of surprise. But maybe they get that AK. Hey, did they see the pickup? No. Pango takes out Birdie. That's 1, almost 2. I can't believe this. How is this happening?
Great for Pango. Not sure if they'll be expecting another one. However, here's the check. Low-key does... Wait a minute. Okay. Get the refusals, but it won't be good. Villanova back on track after a few hiccups here and there. Full eco there for Siena, so they do get a few kills, but that's okay. Able to afford a few rifles. Gray opting for that scout. We have seen them come through with it a few times previously in this matchup. This could be a good moment for them. On the flip side, Low-key won't be opting for that economic option. They're gonna say, no, I like the rifle. I like the rifle. I don't need utility. Maybe that's
He
going to be the
doesn't.
case. Yankee Fan right up in the face, and he's going to be right off the
that's
outside
the
of the
bomb?
smoke. That's the bomb, too. And that's a smoke off. This is complete locking away of this crucial area. But now with
The
a
boost.
boost, they aren't expecting it. This is chaos, Viking.
There's just a lot going on is all the time, but they are kind of funneling themselves into these choke points. Internet and Yankee Fan trading kills there. Pango coming out on top, taking out Internet as well. So there's 2v2, and that spray through the plywood there, taking just the tiniest bit of damage. And now Pango's got this great angle. If he can hold that, and he gets to one, but Kwanye able to immediately take that out, avoiding the collat. And now he's on his way, sprinting towards that A site, trying to figure out. Just kidding. He's slowed down to just a casual consideration of his circumstances. Just looking for that existential question of A or B.
So thoughts as we listen to the city, so scenic sounds.
And how meditative is it?
I would say probably not at all, but it is enough time for Kwanye to realize, well, let's just do B. Smoke themselves off, pick up a smoke from the dead teammate, and they'll have the safety to put this bomb into effect. Now the ball is in Gray's court. I think there may be enough health removed for Kwanye to be taken down with a single shot from the scout. Oh, are they expecting this?
Oh no.
That could have been bad, but they cleaned it up. Villanova back with 14 wins here. 2 more to close out the series with 2 maps in a row. Siena, they have to step up because at this moment, the money's tight. And if they're unable to afford real weapons or even put up a serious defense, we're almost looking at a guaranteed map point for Nova.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how the way Mirage played out at the end, right? Villanova found that momentum. They continued with it through all the end, ultimately ending 16-12. So Siena is in a similar position, and this is their opportunity where they've got to pull it back. But with pistols, they're not going to have a whole lot to do there. But again, we've seen them do some pretty creative and interesting things with those pistols. Unfortunately, for Villanova, Pango finds that opening. Phil Loki finds a second. There's kills being traded back and forth. The rifle's not holding that much of an advantage over the aim of the pistol players on Siena. And that almost was the third. Pretty able to get away with his life, but Yankee Fan were the eagle.
Oh my god. That would have been a little crazy if Puberty was able to do that hot swap. Well, that's all they're good for. Yankee Fan will lose their life. Happy enough, maybe. Well, no, there's no way you could be happy after this round. It's 15-12. It's a map point. It's series point. Nova looking to take it home right now. And they've got plenty of hardware to do it. Low-key, though, back in action with that op. Double op, in fact, as Yankee Fan reprising their role as well. So the question is, I'm expecting that Nova is aware of this possibility. Maybe they don't want to play those long angles. They don't want to play those open areas. However, that won't be the case. Oh.
It's a little love tap, you know?
Good for one, but behind this tree, it's the Lorax. Gray speaks for him, and he defends them as well. 2 headshots over on Long. That's not how you want to start things off. Nade to soften up Tubby. Maybe a 3rd kill will be coming through from Gray. Now they have a support. Now they have a bit of help as this push is being taken by Pango. Not to mention, they've already got the bomb. It's all up to Puberty to... What can they even do at this point? Die? Take a few with them?
Yeah. I mean, you got to go down swinging, right? That's your only option. Great play just on Long. Single-handedly, Gray just doing that opening damage is going to give them the opportunity. Puberty with 1 HP is going to do whatever he can, but he's walking directly into the crosshairs of Gray, who's going to get his 3rd kill on the round. Siena not dead yet.
The nature boy of Gray right there, sitting in the fauna, the trees, the rocks, there to bring enough protection. And that round, that savior really is going to be on the back of Gray in that moment. A full stop, taking out the bomb carrier, leaving them in that stuck position, able to hold it down, even getting wallbanged through the tree. They were able to save this one. Siena should be thanking their lucky stars they had Gray in that position.
Yeah, and Villanova's really got to take this moment to evaluate, what just happened. Obviously, Gray in a singular, Herculean effort is what led to that downfall. but allowing that to happen in the first place is a huge problem. They needed to see more utility out there, not beat them one by one and give them the opportunity to do so, and definitely not stand together while they're throwing AGs at you at your feet. That's not a good way to win a round. Villanova obviously aware of that. They're going to buy it back into this round lightly. You see Birdie and Internet still hesitating to confirm their last purchases there, but they are going to try for this. They're going to play for the win, not for the tie. And I appreciate the aggression. Whether or not that's going to be the right choice, obviously, is going to be determined in the next 2 minutes. This is exciting. I love to see how this is happening, and Siena is doing their all to make sure that they don't lose their second map, and they want to hold on to that 4th place position the best they can.
Crucial times right now. Got Yankee still holding on to the op as well as Loki. So the long-range game will be a difficult one to win if you're Nova at the moment, but that's why they're taking these short angles. Oh no, Loki. Start things off as OCU's there for some backup, but that will not last for long as Loki's back in action, and suddenly there's only 2 players left for Nova. Hooperty, one of them, with just the scout, finds the upgrade to the M4. But this moment, there's a lot of misinformation, or a lack of information there, as Loki, another savior round with a 4K to their name with the op, continue to put Siena at the forefront of this matchup. No money for Nova at this moment.
This is feeling like an overtime, which is something that we haven't seen in quite a few weeks in this, which could be exactly what Siena needed in terms. Again, we're talking about standings right now. They're separated by 4, so they're saving that 4th place position, but how they're going to rank up against some of those 1 through 3 teams is certainly in question. They want to hold that as best they can. Villanova is going to have to do whatever they can with very little to get some sort of way to keep that out. Oh, a little bit of apprehension there is going to cause that smoke to go the wrong direction. So they are still moving up and making slow progress. But Villanova just vastly outgunned this time around. It means that Siena certainly has the opportunity to just close this out and force an overtime. But as I say that, Tubby Muffin takes out Pango, picks up that M4, does take a big hit from the op onto the A site, but they still got plenty of players there to help that out. Bray and takes out Birdie. This could be anybody's game still, and I'm saying that because boy, have we seen some interesting ecos.
Okay, Kwanye from Sandbags. Oh, yep. Toes were spotted. Little bit of fingers peeking out from the area, and that's an easy kill there for Loki, keeping things locked solid. So at this moment, there really is no solid opportunity for Nova to break into. I mean, lockdown through Monster. Got a long sight line of the op there. Close held by OCU. On Sandbags. If they could break through, if they could get a kill to OC. Wait a minute. Toes are spotted. Shots coming out from Tubby. It won't be enough to find a kill, but it's enough to cause a bit of discomfort. Force out a reposition from Loki. They won't be out of the woods just yet. And there's Loki with that kill. Internet finding 2, though. But, oh my god! It's a Team Kobe Viking. And Tubby's so low right now.
We knew we were due for another one.
Oh, man. Oh, no. How has this happened? We're going into OT. What a way for that round to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, that was as spectacular of an explosive end of the round, I guess you could say, as we could get. Very unfortunate. I mean, we, like you said, we were overdue for a Kobe from someone. I did not expect that to be a team kill, but you can't pick what happens there.
It be your own sometimes, Viking. It be your own.
That's where we're at. What is going on with that P90 buy? I feel like Zane doesn't belong in this lobby right now, and I don't know how he got there.
Well, might have been a brief disconnection. That's probably why there has been a timeout.
Oh, is that bot Zane? Oh, that would be really unfortunate if the bot came in and bought the P90.
Yeah, probably the case right now.
Okay, we're back. Internet's back. He's got his full cash. That's okay. That would have been really unfortunate and a really bad situation. Although I guess, you're playing T side, you just run it up connector with the P90, do what you got to do.
Hey, if you can't do it with the P90, could you really do it at all?
It's a great point. It's the great equalizer of this game. As many
Okay,
bullets as
wait,
possible.
wait. Was that an auto sniper purchased? I just left in the
Uh,
spawn?
It looks like it. Pretty must have misclicked there because he's only down to 4K. I don't know that I would have left that. I think I would have said,
Oh.
"Hey, guess we're an auto sniping team."
Oh no. You might as well have kept Zane on the squad. The P90 at least is negligible in terms of the economic impact. But hey, here's Tubby Muffin. And Quande starting things off. 2 kills there for Nova as they make their way through connector as well as just mid proper. A little bit of a lagging behind of puberty there. So unsure of the positioning of Siena. They don't know where to put themselves, so they're just in a spot where they can make fast rotates regardless. Oh. Try it again with a different one.
Yeah. A lot of players from the Villanova side over to the A's suggesting that they're going to make that commitment onto that. They're looking for that opening kill onto the site, but they're not finding one from Siena, who's opting to play a more conservative approach. Pango playing from behind truck. And you can see his teammate Gray over there. Or, sorry, not Gray. Yankee fan playing from that bank position. The execute's going to come in. Villanova feeling themselves there, smoking it off, doing the classic executes. Pango getting 2, almost 3. That could have been incredibly dangerous, but now this gives Gray and Yankee fan an excellent opportunity to play retake and actually find some success here.
I wasn't sure that shot was going to connect.
I was holding
not
my
sure
breath
about that one. Puberty must realize, oh yeah, they were expecting another jump, but at this moment, that bit of positioning made Puberty uncomfortable. They had to back off, and now Gray coming in with a 2 to close things off, and a round that started off a bit shaky for Siena. They were able to secure it. First round of OT, heading over to the CTs.
A little nerve-wracking there. Ultimately, good for Siena for pulling it back together, but if it weren't for Pango getting those 2 opening kills and doing so much damage to the third, I feel like that would have been an easy closeout for Villanova to take their first round of OT. Siena buying back into this, taking out that auto sniper that they purchased on the side of Villanova in the first is going to be felt here, especially if they go into the later rounds. Everybody's on AK is just 1 off this time around, probably the better choice. Internet already up on the site is going to take everybody off, catch OCU a little off guard, but Loki able to return that, takes Internet out through the smoke. 4-4 players being flanked. They didn't see the people coming from connector. Pango able to take out Wanye, and that site is just turning into a crazy battlefield.
We saw
chaos.
We saw the head, and Loki is good for another. Sends out the flash. Maybe this will be good support for Gray, and it is. Now it's all up to Reshiram, and they're coming into water now. Completely cut off, so could be a good defusal. They've got 4 players. I really don't see how they can win this one out. Okay, Siena, good for round or 17 rounds here.
This is an excellent start to OT for Siena. Big fan of the strategy that they've been employing here and the way that they've been able to more or less, I wouldn't say flawlessly, but effectively execute on to the retakes, playing through those positions, keeping everybody together. First round a little bit closer than I'm sure that they would like for comfort purposes, but it really doesn't matter. And they're up 2 rounds, and they're 2 rounds away from victory.
Gonna have to have another pause here as Chad has entered the server.
Chad.
Sometimes you need that, a Giga Chad.
Giga Chad.
To come into the server and really shake up the team dynamic.
Well, they lost those first 2 rounds. They knew they needed to bring in the big guns. Although Chad opting for the AK over the P90, interestingly, so this does seem to have been the right choice. We saw that.
Well, they're an alpha, you know.
Of course,
they'll
yeah. I
go
mean,
for the weapons.
They're not going to go for those silly bullet machines.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all those weapons just hanging out on the side of Siena. So here's the strategy. Villanova just needs to get over there, pick up those weapons, use them against their, I want to say creators, I guess purchasers is more accurate. Just see how that goes.
I think as the,
still hanging out.
There's Internet. Back again. Took a bit of classes. I mean, they realized that, as the meme goes, the Virgin P90, the Chad AK, as we all are familiar. If you're not familiar, well, get over it. Anyways, Internet's back in. They've got enough money. They've got enough money to buy some weapons. Everyone's good for the weapon in this term, but the real issue here is you got to secure one. You Gotta
Yeah.
secure one because this is, you can't let Siena get to 18 right now. You are going to be in such a difficult position once that side swaps. So things need to hurry up, or at least sure up for Nova. But we got OCU in that classic position. You're always going to find a player up and connected, but maybe even more. Yeah, it's Pango. They're good for the second. Some firepower out at party, or leaves them from duty. Hey, grab a new gun. Why not?
Yeah, juggle them around, make sure that you feel comfortable with the tools that you've got. No problem. Villanova is really in the best position that they've been in so far. That's a little strange. That there's he was on the other side of the wall. X-Ray messes me up every once in a while, but Kwanye,
Oh,
I can't
that was
believe
so
you didn't get
close.
that.
My lord. Wow.
My lord, indeed.
What a close scenario. Yankee fan, they... Oh, wow. Good preemptive smoke right there. I'm not sure if they were even expecting it. Oh, they might caught wind of puberty, and they did. And they back off. That's a new positioning. Anyone who walks through is gonna be donezo, especially with Loki and Yankee on the crossfire. And there it is. That's the end of the first half. Siena going strong as we swap sides in OT. Only need one more to close things out and earn their map. It's gonna be a difficult one.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure to be under for any team being only one round away, but especially in OT when you're dealing with equal money across the board. There's no inherent advantage there, of course. And so Villanova has to do everything they possibly can to not only win this, but the next three to force a double overtime and try to find that path to victory. But if they drop one single round, which is certainly unfortunately kind of the vibe right now, this is going to be the last round potentially for this game.
Yeah, Siena certainly taking things slow, and rightfully so. You want to ensure that you have everything in place before this execute commences. You can see that Nova, right, they are not taking this lightly. We've got Kwanye down mid. Yeah, double checking in toilets every now and then. Just make sure no one's sneaking up on him. But we're kind of whittling down the time for Siena. I mean, still a minute left. But they haven't gained too much ground. But that's also considering Nova isn't... They're just conceding a good deal.
Yeah, that turtle position always going to be a little bit stronger. Obviously, if you break that, there's a lot that you have to contend with on that fact. But they are opting to make sure that they're not giving up any of those easy kills, which has been critical to their success in previous rounds. So I like the continuation of that strategy. I like the setup that they've got on these sites, and this is going to make it incredibly difficult for them to come over and make that, for Siena to find successes that are coming into that. But they do have all of their players, and they are seeing that execute. But all the Villanova team, with the exception of one, is there to beat them.
There's Pango for one. Goes around to Optimus and finds the second. Maybe Restroom is good for the trade out, and finally they do get it. They've lost two along the way. And now with the smokes up, bomb will go down. Shots out of puberty will connect. But it costs Restroom a great deal of health. They're very low. They're cut off. They're smoked off from dumpster, and there's a molly in the bank. They have to think carefully about this one. Oh, Wop only legs gray. Won't be enough. There's a flash. Peek afterward. No, it's all about waiting out time. There's a crossfire. Especially with Yankee fan. Anyone who walks out a dumpster. Face a flurry of bullets. But no, one goes the way of Nova. Maybe it's the last one. Yankee fan has to clutch it out, but they can't get it done. And Nova, they should be able to get this done, and they will indeed get that defusal.
Oof.
Very close to losing that one.
That was a little too close. I do appreciate the retake there, the execution of that. That all came together very well. Love to see those incredibly tight battles. The fact that it came down to less than a second, pretty exciting. I mean, Villanova is certainly prepared to take this as far as they need to. And, for the sake of our viewers, I'm kind of hoping that they see the next two rounds.
Anti-molly with the smoke. Here comes HE. Not going to connect. No worries on that one. I mean, when you send a million of them, can't expect all of them to hit. Certainly looking to be that B hit. A lot more players prepared for it. Normally we had just two, one player in heaven, but no one's in the heaven position right now. The op, held by internet, still over by mid, so here comes the execute. Might be able to spot one who's just out in the open. It takes a little bit of time to realize, but the shots will make their connection. Reshiram playing back by the tunnel, waiting for that angle. There it is, that's the bomb down. Covered by Gray. Here comes the op shot from Loki. Might need another one, might need the hero play. Kwanye sending out as much utility as they can. Kobe from internet. Now it's just a 2v3. Goes in for the boost. We'll have the angle onto Loki, and there it is. It's all done. Siena able to clutch things out again. It won't go down. It's all up to this final round, at least for either teams, really. If they want to send it to another OT. Siena really holding it down here.
Villanova, for some reason, we got switched back. So Villanova is still on the backside, down 17 to 18.
Nope.
Loki and the boys of the Siena squad trying their best to close it out. And this is what separates winning from a double OT. Such a quiet start to the round. I don't know that we've had that in quite some time.
Okay, there's Tubby.
Gonna see you. All right.
Spawn's going to be, oh, yep, internet with the op. Great plays indeed.
This is feeling good for them Nova boys.
I mean, we've seen recoveries from far worse positions. However, the ground gained by Nova, I believe, is pretty deep. They're already in connector. They've moved up into water. They've cut off the option of that rotation, even a boost looking into it, if anyone even so dares. Going for that option. Yeah, there's internet. What a shot. No problems indeed. Everyone's big chillin' at this point.
Big chillin'. It is a weirdly slow drip. There's not a lot going on for either side except for these, occasional kills. Villanova with the game on the line does manage to keep it together, so that means that Siena and Villanova are going to our double OT, which I think is maybe the first time that we've ever run into that. Maybe the second. I'm gonna go with the second. The second, for sure. But not since the first half of the season, which is already just a lot.
Another one of those slow plays. I mean, at this point, you might as well pump up the speed because those slow plays haven't really netted you anything. Except for a...
It's a lot of weird slow trades, right?
Yeah. 100%.
And there we go. We see it again. Trade for trade.
Kwanye, no problem there. They're locking it down, but here's Yankee fan coming in from sandbags. With the smoke, might have that option to jump through and peek over the boards, but no way. We've got internet in the top row. Low-key, though, finally has a response. They got to clutch this out into 1v2. They don't realize that there's a player in pit. Potentially not. Reshiram. Last one. Above ground, over by jungle. Will clutch that one out. And they're all good on that one.
This is that Nova Boulder is getting rolling. This is now their 4th round in a row. And it could be just the momentum that they need to keep running. And obviously, we're talking about double OT there, so they still have 3 rounds that they have to secure before they can claim victory. But certainly a great way to start that off, and certainly they got to be feeling good about that. Siena on the other side, trying to figure out what the winning combination, the adjustments are going to be. Right now, it's going back to their tried and true push towards A, see what you can get. Yankee fan this time in connector is going to try to find somebody get a different angle for their teammates. And we'll see if Villanova has learned their lessons from their original time on the CT front and not letting Siena get that position. And internet taking OCU as he comes out of that connector position. That is going to be the opening kill for this round.
There's another one from Kwanye. At this point, we're not really finding set pieces coming out of Siena. They're just slowly pushing players up without any utility. There aren't any executes coming out. just full on default. Oh, there's Kwanye with the double. The collide is good. No worries here. And now Yankee fan all alone. Give Kwanye the third one. The fourth one, actually. A great round for Nova. 0 undefeated so far in the first half.
Clap, clap. Or, no, sorry, that's not what I was going for. I don't know why I said that. Let's forget that it ever happened collectively.
Okay. Okay.
I was gonna like applaud Villanova for the continued momentum or something about like a horse ride again, but that's more of a clop. So anyways, Villanova looking for their
Who's
third
getting
round.
clapped right now?
I don't just I guess Siena a little bit. Tubby going up for that is going to find that kill around the corner, continuing to spam through that smoke, but not going to connect with the second player that's there. Villanova already finding their first kill onto it. Siena just lines up, and there's so many people there to take those bullets, just adding as a sponge. Tubby and Kwanye getting a kill on their own. Yankee fan still somehow alive. Just kidding, he's gone, and that is the end of the CT half and the double overtime for Villanova. So now Siena, looking at defeat, has one round that they have to win to come in this back and force it into a triple overtime, and that is their only choice to stay alive in this match.
Not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, we got to double OT. We can certainly get to triple OT, Tyler. I wouldn't be surprised. Villanova. Clutchanova is what they have to be right now. Let's see if they can get it done. It's just one round. Just one round necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some serious movement coming on. We only got Gray in long, and they back off right to toilets. Well, you got some massive resistance, but it doesn't matter when Puberty starts things off hot, and now the rotation is in full effect. But check out Yankee fan in the back line. He's gotten up, but he's going for the flank. If he can catch one off by running through playground, if they could snipe off that bomb runner of Tubby Muffin, that could be critical. Won't be the case. Pango holding strong over by Optimus. Now there's a smoke on their back line, but here comes the rest of the squad. Getting caught out with the knife out. Yankee fan has made a critical error.
This is a tough place to be now for the side of Siena because they are at that disadvantage. They are playing from the position, but Villanova has already made that decision. This is not where they want to be. So they're moving around. They're going to create some pressure on all these different sides. But you see them moving back towards the B site. They're kind of all over the place, but Kwanye just pushing on to site for the side of Villanova is going to find that opening kill. That's 2 players left on the side of Siena. This could be the end.
Oh, Kwanye. Good for another. They're continuing down. Last one in there is OCU in the tunnels. Well, maybe they'll realize, well, the bomb isn't there. It's over back on B. They don't know that yet. They've got a clue right now. OCU sent out the flash. You can clear things out. The bomb's not here, my friend. You are in the wrong direction, and time is a waste. And not to mention, there's no kit on this player.
Oh, no.
There it is. Internet locks it out. Finally, in the end, Villanova, Clutchanova, they get the job done. 22-18. It has been a long battle, and I mean a long battle back and forth, but they win it out 2-1 or 2-0. Excuse me. They're 2-1 in the last 2 days. And this is looking good for this squad. They must be feeling very happy after this final successful venture against Siena.
Making great efforts across the board, doing pretty well in the NCAA tourney as well on the basketball side. So good for that team. Because of that overtime, we're super far behind schedule. So we're going to be skipping the interview for today and instead going into our next matchup, which is going to be Marquette versus Iona. We're going to get to see Nuke again this week, which is always an exciting time. Love to see Marquette playing on that map. So give us a couple minutes to reset, get those new teams in there, but don't go anyways. And again, congratulations to Villanova. We'll be right back.